How is it now, guys? Can you hear me now? Technical difficulty. I think you guys can hear me. I'm very sorry about all of that, but I guess that's kind of can't hear me if I'm speaking. Hopefully you can now. I think I may have fixed it. I think it may all be fixed, but everyone's gone by now anyway. But we are going to be talking about, hopefully, The Flash Season 9, Episode 5, just kind of right out of the gates. If there's anyone that had joined that are still here, I would love to hear everyone's thoughts and feelings and emotions. We can hear it now. That's how amazing is that? I love to hear it. I think I fixed it. It's all in the settings. That was an episode. Now, right off the bat, I want to hear everyone's thoughts because I don't. Probably one of the disadvantages to doing these live chats is I still haven't fully processed this episode. I liked moments. I liked certain things, I think. But maybe not everything. Right off the bat, spoilers. Again, spoilers if you guys are popping in and you haven't seen the episode. Iris is pregnant. Right off the bat. So we knew this was happening. This is something that was... Like, we had been talking about this for years. Like, all the way back to season 4. Where, like, when's she going to get pregnant? I will say this. I am very proud of the writers for not making her pregnant until now. Because... And maybe I'm in the minority here, but I don't love the idea of just having, like, a little tiny kid walking around the show for 5 seasons and us, like, it just gets, like, kidnapped every episode or whatever. So, just like a Jenna 2.0. So, yeah, she is officially pregnant. How are we feeling about how it was revealed? How do we feel about it being Keone that revealed it for Iris and Barry? And how? How did she know? It was okay. There has its... Yeah, I would agree. I didn't love this episode, but it had some really cool stuff in there as well, right? Let's see. What are people saying? I love it when the Flash said it was flashing time. Did he say that and I missed it? Did I miss something, but did she said what happened to Ryan? So as far as, like, where she was, no. I don't think they did. I don't think they said anything. Which is weird, right? Like, I guess we were just kind of under the influence that she was kidnapped, but she clearly wasn't, so was she just in hiding? I actually have no idea what happened to Ryan. I have zero idea. If I had to throw a guess out there, I would guess Red Death maybe came after her, or she heard about Red Death and then she went in hiding. I have no idea. I'm going to assume she was locked up and then broke free. Maybe. Maybe. Decent moments but when you put them all together, it's not good. Yeah, I might agree there. I might concur. And I almost feel like that's the last couple seasons of The Flash. Coming from someone who really likes some of these seasons, like, even... I don't know, it's like you'll have certain sectors of the show that's just, like, really good. But then, like, certain elements of the show you just kind of want to skip over. And that's kind of unfortunate sometimes. There are a lot of things that confuse me about the episode. Same. I'm still a bit confused about the Grodd stuff. I swore, have we not seen any of the gorillas post-Crisis? Thought that was kind of weird. But, I'll be honest, it was very nice to see Grodd. Grodd was one of those characters that I was really hoping they could get back in some capacity. I don't know, it would... I almost feel like you could have done more with him, though, you know? Like, I think I would have just preferred a whole episode on Grodd. I don't know. Like, I'm almost at a point this season and with this arc, I almost would have preferred just a bunch of these, like, one-off fillery type episodes over the story, over this, like long arc. right? Like, I think I would have just preferred an episode where Barry and Ryan are just, fighting crime together, or an episode where Barry's focusing on Grodd. I think them all kind of just thrown into a hosh-posh of episodes. It's kind of weird. That's just me, though. So do you think that by episode 7, Iris will be 9 months pregnant? I don't know. I kind of just assumed the series finale might be her giving birth. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Also, the way that Joel was written off was just... I think him leaving Cecile was weird. But I actually thought Joe was the highlight of this episode for me. Personally. I thought his speech was amazing. Although, has there ever been a bad Joe speech? Ever. I don't think so. Like, people complain about these, pep talks, but I love them when they're done right. And when they're placed in, the right space. And I thought, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Alright, I speed watched through the part I'm behind on. I had so much fun knowing a Pacific fandom will rage over it. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I didn't hate it. But there's definitely going to be certain people who do not like how it was revealed. Grodd CGI is expensive to do and apparently takes a little more time. Yeah, true. I didn't think it looked bad for current Flash, CGI. It didn't look amazing. I mean, I'm not an expert when it comes to CGI and how it works and how it's supposed to look. So I'm never going to be one who's like, it's supposed to look like this, and I'm not going to be one to do that. I thought it looked fine though. I wasn't complaining about it or anything. Didn't look as good as season 1, season 2 though. But why would it? Right? It's early budgets always look better. Having Grodd in the same scene with Barry, it looked bad, especially having him appear. There was the one shot that was the side of Grodd where I'm like, oh, that looked a little silly. That looked a little funny. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be person to person. I'm just glad he was there, right? And I've always said this, I'll take a fun story or great characters over wonky CGI. And the fact we got to say goodbye to Grodd one last time, I can take him looking maybe a little funny. Personally. No, Joe always has a great... No, Joe has always given fantastic speeches. I agree. I think most of the speeches on The Flash are always usually good. The issues with them are usually just how it's paced, right? And how many we get is probably the main issue. Only person they would be more mad at breaking it... Oh, sure. I thought it was going to be Cecile. I thought it was going to, she was going to be able to, read Iris's mind and be like, are you pregnant or something? I kind of thought that maybe was what they were going to do. So I guess out of the two, I prefer Keone, but, I don't know. So do you think it's just Nora, or do you think it's going to be twins? I'll say it's twins because they mentioned the line about the timeline is changing again. I'm sorry, I dropped my mic here. But the fact that Iris said, or I think it was Barry, the timeline must be changing. I have a feeling they'll just do the twins thing. I don't know. I don't know why they just shouldn't make them twins to begin with. Maybe it's the age gap, but I don't know, I always thought doing the 5 years apart or whatever was kind of weird. That would have made it so much worse. Yeah, I agree. We need to break down on how Keone's powers work. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned. It seems like next week is going to have a big focus on her powers, and next week's is the Lucky episode, right? I don't know, just by the trailer, I'm very concerned about next week. You would probably have a better idea than me. Is next week Barry-less? Do we not have any Barry? If so, I'm definitely very nervous about it. Yeah, but I think in general, I think just my overall thoughts on this episode was, like I said earlier, cool moments. that fight scene, I don't think we talked about it yet. The fight scene was pretty dope. I mean, like, it looked a little wonky at some points, but I respect Eric Wallace, not just Eric Wallace, like everyone over there, for doing unique things with their fight scenes, right? Barry pulled out like a freaking shield. Red Death pulled like a chain, like a Batman like grappling hook, and like swung across the city. That was kind of silly, but I kind of really enjoyed it. For sure. And I liked the reveals that we got for Ryan. I liked that Kara and Ryan are now friends. We kind of set that up in the Earth Prime graphic novel. We kind of set that up there. And I'm happy. Like, it's something we all wanted. I'm glad we're kind of setting up the larger world. I was kind of surprised we didn't get nothing with, like, the Justice League or whatever. Like, going into this, I kind of figured that they would have already have had Ryan on that team. And I guess we can assume later on, like, she'll have just taken Kate's place or whatever. I guess that depends how they end the show, too. From the trailer for episode 6, Barry is in it. Okay, that's a release. A relief, not a release. I don't really know. That was a gap in time where I didn't see them on set for a bit. I know it's a bottle episode, aka Barry. Yeah, I'm concerned about these next, what is it, 3? Because we got this week, following week's Dreamer, right? And I have no idea what episode 8 is. I have no idea, but thank you for that. We'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. But yeah, I thought it was alright. I'll be honest. I have been very disappointed with this arc. For someone that was a big fan of the Batwoman show, it did kind of feel like Ryan Wilder was wasted. Just on Red Death. I think I would love to hear what everyone's thoughts are on just Red Death in general and her performance, because I don't think she's a bad actress. Like, I think in the Batwoman show she's really good, but they have wrote her like a 12-year-old. It's strange how this a character to such a caliber as Ryan in an alternate timeline, not even an alternate Earth, an alternate timeline, could have changed so much where she acts like a 12-year-old when she doesn't get what she wants. She literally throws temper tantrums, and I don't understand this decision. I really, really don't. It's really bugged me. So is Cobalt Blue the final villain for the series? It seems like that's likely. It seems like I would say it's either Cobalt Blue, and we obviously know he's in this final season, or Thawne. Like, I could also see a scenario where Thawne is kind of pulling the strings behind it all. But he's definitely one of the final villains. Tonight's episode was a huge step up from the rest of the season, but doesn't redeem. I would say it's my second favorite. I still really like that first episode. I thought it was a fun little... coming from someone who doesn't like the time loop stuff, I honestly really enjoyed that first episode. No, I don't want more Reverse Flash. I get that, but it is the Reverse Flash. I almost feel like you start it with Thawne, you almost kind of have to end it with Thawne, I think. I would have preferred if it was Matt's Thawne. Ideally, I think that would have been a fun way to... I mean, you know, we are still getting Matt's Thawne, but I think that would have been a fun way to kind of mix it all up. For me, the worst episode was episode 2. I 100% agree. 100%. Episode 2 was one of my least favorite episodes of The Flash in a long time. Alright, let's rank them. Everyone in the chat, all 4, 5, 6 of you, however many are actually in the chat, rank the 5 episodes that we have got. From your favorite to least favorite. I would actually be very curious. Okay. Oh, I enjoyed the first episode from an entertainment standpoint, but it wasted a lot of time. That's fair. I just think he kind of needed I almost think we needed that episode after everything Barry and Iris have, like, been through. I think they needed an episode that was kind of just for themselves. And, I don't know. I prefer those character moments over stuff we got in episode 2 and episode 3. Personally. But, I mean, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I thought that our Ryan was going to have more to do. Same. I was just under the assumption that she was in both of these episodes. And I don't know. I just think if you're going to get this actor back, like if you're going to dedicate a whole arc to Ryan Wilder, do something with it. It kind of has just felt like a waste to me. Yesterday's betrayer is invited to the cookout. Yeah. I mean, that's Barry for you, though, right? I don't know. I didn't hate... I mean, we didn't get much of Chillblaine. Honestly, I'm glad it seems like we're done with his villain arc. Because, honestly, like, when he's good, he's, like, a solid character, in my opinion. Like, Mark, when he's, like, kind of on our side, I think I just prefer when he's on our side than this, like, haha, I tricked you, and now I'm against you, or whatever. So, it's whatever. If he's gonna be there, make him... Because I feel so bad for that actor. I don't know. Like, he's a good actor. Like, he does good work. It's just the character isn't very good. 5, 4, 3, 2... Or, 5, 4, 3, 1, 2. I think mine would go... Episode 1... Episode 5... Episode 3... Episode 4... And then Episode 2. I think I got that right. 5, 1, 4. I've got the other two, like, completely. Fair enough. Fair enough. 4, 5, 1, 3, 2. Best to worst. Alrighty. Officer Carver had a longer scene than that woman. Yeah, I thought she was a dead man. Or a dead woman. How do we feel, and I know this has kind of been a big joke, how do we feel about Red Death killing a total of, like, 1 persons? How do we feel? 5, 4, 3, 1, 2. Best to worst. LBM in the chat. How's it going, buddy? How are you feel? I would love to hear LBM personally. How are you feeling about the season of The Flash? I will temporarily not spoil it because I don't think you've seen it yet. I think you're usually like a day after, man. But how are you feeling about this final season? Our first arc has been completed. Also, do we know the name of this arc? Do we know the title? That's usually released like the week after, right? Or I guess it's probably just Mask of the Red Death, right? Arise or something? I don't know. But it is very good to kind of hear everyone's... could have used a lot more killing. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not completely against it. I get it. I'm trying to think, could what we saw here have lined up with the Season 5 stuff? And if not, it definitely doesn't. But if it does, I wonder what happened in that timeline. Like, I wonder what the Season 5 Red Death was that caused him or them to be so more villainous. Mask of the Red Death? Probably, I'd assume so. The Rogues could have been much better. Yeah, I mean, they could have been worse too, though, if we're being honest. At the end of the day, I honestly did learn to honestly like the Rogues, at least our team of them. Goldface is not one of my favorite characters, but I learned to like him. I learned to like Draco. Draco? I don't know his last name. But it also kind of makes me wonder, like, we're wasting, like, what, 3 episodes on these characters that, let's be honest, a lot of people don't care a lot about. These aren't, like, fan favorite characters, and that's a little concerning. I feel like they literally just named her Red Death, or... Oh, I mean, the only reason they did Red Death, I think, was just because people kept on asking about it. Like, this has been something that they've been begging for since Season 5. And you know, I do appreciate Eric Wellis trying to give that to the fans, and also trying to give Batwoman some closure. But do we feel closure, guys? I mean, Batwoman wasn't a show that I think needed a lot of closure, because it kind of ended in a nice little bow. But I don't know, I don't feel any less closure than I did from the actual show. Feel less. Like, now I'm kind of like, okay, let's just go visit, like, Gotham. I don't know. I guess we got the stuff with, like, Supergirl, and we know that they're... and does this imply Supergirl is back on Earth? Because last season she was in space with John, so... If she's having weekly, book meetings? Or whatever it was, does this imply that she's back? What would everyone's be overall score of the graphic novel? I've always have a hard time with scores. Maybe a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Not my favorite. This might be in my bottom 3 arcs, if I'm being honest. If I'm being completely honest. So far, it's fairly decent. Not the same some of the best the show has done, but it's been a solid ride so far. I'm excited to see what the second half... Yeah, I think everyone's kind of in this constant state of, like, alright, now let's get to the back half. Let's get to that Oliver. Let's get to the Wally. Let's get to the evil speedster war thing that we've been teased. I think we're all kind of in that boat. We're in the waiting boat as we get into these interlude episodes. Although, I'll be honest, very excited for Dreamer. I hope they do her justice. I forgot, but what happened to the rogues from Red Death? I don't remember either. I didn't even want to say nothing, because I was like, do I just forget? But what happened to... Like, Captain Boomerang's the only one I cared about, really. I really liked that Captain Boomerang. I wish he could have been a more... Not a regular, but, like, I wish he would have been introduced sooner, for we could have got that actor... I mean, he couldn't, because he was on 100 for how many years, right? But maybe last year, it would have been nice to see him. I think I dislike their team of rogues even worse, I think, than ours. I don't understand the Fiddler. I don't understand, I can't remember her name. Mimic? I forget her name. Why was she here? She has no connection to the show at all. I don't quite understand that. In Season 5, they said that Cicada killed more people than Red Death. Well, they would be right. I don't understand Cicada's threat level at all. I never have. My boy Richard Harmon was wasted, in my opinion. He should have been used more. Is that Captain Boomerang? I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. I'm indifferent about Batwoman's closure, fair enough. I did like that they did a little callback for Season 5. They mentioned Red Death, and they finally... honestly, I'm just glad it's done, because, like, imagine... I think if we didn't do Red Death this season, there'd be a section of this fan base who was like, what happened there? Why did we never see Red Death, or whatever? I love the chasing between Barry and Red Death, and also the rogues went to Iron Heights. They went to Iron Heights already. Makes sense. I think they said they were arrested. Okay. I hope the Legends somehow get a type of closure. Maybe Sarah Lance could pop in for a quick cameo. I would love Sarah Lance to pop in for a second. Honestly, I think you can easily do it. I just need a line of dialogue or something from somebody. You could just say, like, oh, I helped the Legends escape time jail. Or, me and Sarah went out to tea after they escaped time jail or something. Like, it's so easy, I think, to kind of wrap up those characters' stories and arcs. I don't need, like, I know there's a section of this. I'm really in the middle of that whole topic where there's some people who want those characters to, like people want that, like, 2-episode arc or whatever to wrap up Legends. Some people don't want them anywhere near. I just had a small little cameo, a small little mention would be enough for me. Where was I? I don't get why people hate Red Death. Yeah, she wasn't the best villain. I think it's just these temper tantrums that are really dragging me down, man. And the lack of just kind of nothingness. A lot of it just kind of doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know. Personally. The final fight scene between Bear and Red Death just gets me so energized. I don't even know why. No, the fight scene was amazing. There's no debacle from me. I loved it. That was a lot of fun. I think Red Death is way better than the season 7 villains. Fair. I think she's... I will agree, Forces, she's a lot better than Forces. I don't know. She's about tied right now for Godspeed. I'd say she's slightly better than Godspeed. I would agree. I said on Twitter earlier that she might be my second least favorite villain, and I did kind of forget about season 7. So I'd say bottom 4, Cicada all the way at the very bottom. The Forces, Godspeed, and then Red Death, I think. I think Godspeed or Red Death can be switched, though. I'm not quite sure kind of where I'm at with it yet. After it's all said and done, I'm going to rewatch The Flash. Sounds like a fun plan. I will eventually... I don't know, it's my favorite show, so I might honestly just, like, take some time away from it, and then a couple years, maybe a year, because I honestly, I rewatched, a couple years ago, I rewatched seasons 1 and 2, and I had planned to do the whole thing, because I've never rewatched a lot of seasons of the show, but I never did. Like, I really want to watch season 3 and 4 and 6. Those are seasons I really enjoyed that I have not revisited before, and I would love to do that. I've actually got my dad into the Arrowverse recently. He's 2 seasons in the Arrow, and he's loving it. I hope your dad is having a fun time with it. He's 2 seasons in the Arrow, so he's done with season 2. He got some fun stuff on the way. He got The Flash season 1 and season 2. I hope he really enjoys it. I also didn't feel scared by her. I did in episode 1. Episode 2, those first, like before she's, like, unmasked, she gave me very Zoom vibes, which I like. I agree, a lot of this arc didn't make a lot of sense, and could have, it might be the writing, it might be the director, I don't know, I talked about this earlier, I don't mean, like, beat it over the head, I don't understand the direction with this character, I don't understand why we make her, like, a 12-year-old. I think it's you got a good actress. You even have like a fun arc with her. Like, I like this idea of her trying to take down the villains before they do anything. That's fun. It fits with the Flash. It fits with who Ryan is at her core, and what an evil Ryan would be like, right? An evil Ryan would be the opposite, and because Ryan was a villain, like Ryan was a criminal. So it makes sense to me. The execution. Again, I think that's been my issue with The Flash last, couple seasons. Thoughts and ideas are really freaking cool. Execution are not, a lot of the times. She's way better than Godspeed was wasted and a disappointment. I would say they both were, for me. I think they were both kind of a disappointment. And very similar. They both did, the clone army type thing, which was a little weird for me. 4 and 5 were the best episodes of this arc. I don't agree personally, but I respect your opinion. I almost think I prefer episode 1 and 3, personally, better. I don't know. That's going to be interesting. Iris pregnant and her ex-boyfriend back. Do we think it's Eddie, y'all? Do we think it's actually going to be Eddie, or do we think it's going to be Malcolm? I hope just for that fact it is Eddie, because I want that real personal connection. I want that personal, let's see, also Barry's greatest mistake was Grad. Yeah, I didn't get that either. And we see this a lot where villains kind of just talk out of their butt. But, I also didn't understand how she knew about the events of season 7. I didn't get that either. It's going to be like an Barry robbed Eddie of his life. Yeah, that's the arc I want. I think that could be a fantastic final arc for the Flash. Personally. Fun fact, once the Flash is done, all the Arrowverse shows on Earth Prime, not counting Superman, Lois, and Stargirl, all combined up to 699 episodes. Are we sure? I thought we were in the 700s. Maybe the 700s is counting Vixen and stuff like that. Maybe. How is Red Death wasted? I just mean I think she could have lived up to a higher potential. I agree. I think Godspeed only being 2 episodes was kind of silly. But yeah, I wanted more from that actress, from this arc, from that character. I think if we're going to dedicate an entire arc in the final Arrowverse season ever, I want it to be a little bit more, I don't know, better, I guess, is all I'm saying. I'm a bit let down with this arc, and next week looks filler. It looks like the next 3 episodes might be filler. It seems like, which again, I want to remind people, filler isn't always bad, right? Crossover events are filler. A lot of our favorite moments throughout the show, like a lot of your like Gorilla Grodd episodes are like filler and stuff like that, right? So filler isn't always necessarily a bad thing. Some of my favorite episodes of television are filler. It's just what you do with that filler, you know? Eddie would be like a Prometheus type. That's what I want. That's real. I want a very... I miss the real person. We haven't had a... I guess we had one with Bloodwork. I think Bloodwork is the closest we've had to a real personal villain to Barry in a while. Thoughts on the recent video of Grant Gustin hanging up the flashlight actually made me pretty emotional. Yeah, me too. Me too. I've been really trying to avoid the sadness era right now. Everyone is saying their goodbyes. Everyone's writing their messages. They're posting their photos. And I have told myself I'm not really going to try and think about it's over. I am not trying to think about that right now. Until it's over, right? I am in denial currently. In denial. I just don't really like the concept of having 3 back-to-back filler episodes when the beginning of the arc wasn't strong. Me neither. No. I am in 100% agreement with you. I just think, I think my biggest thing is that we're just wasting these episodes. Eric Wallace wanted 20 episodes, and I don't know, maybe if we had 20 episodes this season would be a lot better, because we'd had more time to tell these stories, but, would he have wasted a whole 20 episode, final season? I 100% agree with you, though. I don't know, if we had these filler episodes, and maybe it's a budget thing, maybe they're saving all the budget for this Oliver episode and 20 speedsters in the series finale. But I don't know. I feel like if you're having these filler, you can have these kind of one-off stories. I don't know. So probably going to go for another 4 to 5 minutes or so. Any final thoughts on this episode? We had, I'm just going to say it, man, 2 Jenna. She appeared last week in a big way, and she was referenced this week. That's 2 in a row. We should be, very grateful. We should be very grateful. And it feels like we are waiting until 9/9 for things to get... Yeah, I think we're in this waiting period. That's very disappointing. I want them to, I don't know, make every second count. I think we could have, look at Arrow. Every single episode. And Arrow is a little different. It is more of a grounded show, and they were able to, they didn't have to have these massive things every episode. But every episode of Arrow, there was something special, something to look forward to. And they had less episodes. They had 10. And some of those weren't even of Arrow. Some of those were crossovers and backdoor pilots, and one didn't even have Oliver Queen in it. I don't know, I guess I wanted more of that. Overall, it was a 6.5, maybe a 7. Yeah, I would say around that road. I honestly don't know how to rank these things like people really want them to. But I'd say around a 5 or a 6. It was okay. It was alright. But yeah. Any final comments or questions or any of that stuff? Why? Here's the thing, they're in the same universe. You're supposed to compare them. I'm not, I am someone who doesn't like dragging the show. I love the show. But I just kind of want a little bit better for it. I am one on here that kind of wants to kind of hop on here and have fun with it, and that's kind of what I want from it. I'm not here to completely bash it. I'm here to talk about the fun things too. Also give this episode 8. Fair enough. I'm really glad that you liked it. I didn't hate it, guys. I like this is like I still I enjoy almost every episode of the show. I don't know, just stuff I didn't necessarily like. This overall maybe it's like I've always said it's a season by season basis. Like the good of Arrow versus the good of the Flash. I would put Flash over Arrow. I would put like Flash season 1. Like, Flash season 1 beats all of Arrow, in my personal opinion. Dude, the video Grant Gustin hanging up the suit made me emotional because I was 12 when the show started. I don't know how old I was when it started. I started watching in 7th grade, though. Like, I've gone through so many, like, graduations and, like, I graduated high school. I've gone through so many weddings and so many points, like, in my life that I'll miss forever. But the first episodes were mid, but this one was good. Fair enough. Fair enough. It is fair to compare one final season to another when they... Yeah, I mean, it's in a world where we can compare... Like, I don't like... I'm a mixed when it comes to it, right? Because I think comparing art isn't always fair, and all that jazz. I don't know. Flash started when I was 8, now I'm 17. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Ben from the DC TV show. I think you're the real DC TV show. Thanks, man. Thanks for hopping in. I want to hear directly what was your opinion on this final season. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your thoughts? I think you're the right one. I hope you're not just like a troll. But it's great to see you here, man. I would love to work with you at some point, man. I've been questioning, like, hey, should I reach out at some point to maybe do something? But I'm like, he's probably way too busy for any of that jazz. Oliver, but nothing ever needs to. Yeah, I would agree. Where are we in the chat? Not gonna lie, I started during quarantine. What a fun time. What a fun time to watch these shows. Like, you have so much time to kind of just watch through and have fun with it. I would have loved to watch this stuff in quarantine. Oh yeah, did you see they canceled a Legends? I did see that. They canceled a whole bunch of those Lego games. There was like a Muppets game or something. Good finale. I'm very glad to hear. Maybe sometime soon. I would love it. He has the check mark. But guys, we're heading up on that 45-minute spot. Thank you, everyone. Stranger and LBM and Kang and Ben and all these people who have popped in and chatted with us. I had such a blast. I hope everyone has enjoyed this first half. And as we are kind of entering into the second half, not that many episodes left. Like, we are heading into the end game of the Flash and the Arrowverse and all of this jazz. But again, thank you everyone who has stopped by and heard me ramble for the last 45 minutes or so. Final goodbyes, final everythings. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye. This always takes forever.